Hello Internet! Today is what day? I forgot. Today is Wednesday the 7th of August 2013. This is my log entry number 3. Today is the first time since I left my country of Denmark that I have gotten to sink my teeth into a proper steak at dinner. And while that might not sound like the biggest of deals, I love steak with a passion. Glorious steak! So, you'll forgive me if I find it to be a bit important that I finally got to eat my steak. Hopefully there will be more in time, but steak here is ridiculously expensive. You know what else I haven't had in a while? A beer. You hang on. I'm just gonna go get one. Yeah. Get some wondrous product placement in here. It's a deluxe beer, apparently. By the way, beer in Japan actually reminds you a great deal about American beer. It's dangerously close to water. Today, we decided to take the bus to a place called Kintetsu. Kintetsu is one of Wakayama's greatest and most expensive malls, as far as Wakayama goes, that is. Kintetsu and its partner in crime, the mall right next to it called Mio, they got the kind of stuff that you might need from a day-to-day basis. You know, things like clothes, food, kimonos, a bunch of books, and I don't know what this is, but I'm filming it. Whatever that thing was, there's everything that you could possibly need in Kintetsu and Mio combined. A mall like Kintetsu is a great place to see people and see things and the general everyday life of the Japanese average Joe or average Suzuki. I'm not gonna lie, there were a number of highly attractive girls around, but second to that, some of the things that you notice while going to a place like Kintetsu is the differences between my malls back home and this mall. Because Kintetsu is supposed to be the local creme de la creme when it comes to malls. So it's weird to see all these brands of clothing that I've never heard about before and these strange and sometimes just bad worded English sentences that are used to advertise things. Like that sign, for instance. Enjoy under. Enjoy under. It's just weird seeing the forwardness of this mall's advertisement when it comes to things like fashion and for instance the length of girls' skirts, which is dangerously short in many cases here. There was a sign in the clothing section on, I think it was the 4th floor of Kintetsu or something like that, that said no denim, no life. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you know, they'd be like this pants type thing. We call them cowboy pants back home, but that's not what the rest of the world calls them. So if you don't have those pants, you apparently have no life at all. The reason why the forwardness of this modern fashion culture in Japan is interesting is because on the surface, Japanese society appears to be very reserved. Each individual sort of just sticks to themselves and you don't say anything super offensive or super negative to other people. For instance, you'd be hard pressed to find an actual legit, really bad Japanese word. So it's strange to think that in a country where they go out of their way to be polite to each other, I mean, if two families attend a restaurant together, the heads of those two families will likely be fighting over who gets to pay for the meal. That doesn't happen back home. In a country where people go so much out of their way to be polite to each other. For instance, all the workers of a shop will greet you when you enter it. Very happy you're here, welcome, and things. In this country, there's like this constant pressure on you to be just right when it comes to fashion, just right when it comes to dreams and career choice. Everything has to be kawaii. And if you're not part of that mainstream culture, I mean, it excludes you in a non-friendly way, if there is a friendly way to be excluded. It's weird knowing that in the background, behind the curtains and all the pomposity, there's this immense pressure to be what is cool and what is normal. You can't be an outlier in Japan unless you're the right type of outlier. But the culture of Japan has been sort of infiltrated by Western influence. And what has happened has become this mix of Western fashion, Western dreams and ideals mixed in with these more old Japanese ideas. The old Japanese ideas don't have room for individualism. People seem more like drones reacting to orders than they seem like individuals, at least when it comes to choice of fashion. It just bothers me a little bit that the Japanese culture does not have room for you as an outlier. It only has room for those who are willing to follow the rules as established by those who are cool. I mean, once you realize that all the waiters in those shops you go to only greet you the way they do because they are expected to by society, I mean, the grandeur of it sort of disappears. They're not saying hello and welcome and we're glad to see you because they actually want to say hello and welcome and because they're actually glad to see you. They're saying hello and welcome, we're glad to see you because society tells them to, in a very non-friendly way. Don't break the norm in Japan or you'll be screwed. So on that incredibly happy note, cheers! Danish beer is still better.